In the times of the Vijayanagara Empire, the invaders who came, they came because India was so rich. They were selling golds on the road. The Apple founder, Steve Jobs, there's a point in his life that when he was lost, came to Bharat to again look for direction. Mark Zuckerberg, the Beatles, and Julia Roberts, then Will Smith, even Elon Musk, even Albert Einstein.
When you visit India, you actually come to seek the truth.
For the whole world, Bharat is essential because see, Bharat has always been that place where people come back to heal.
When you speak, you really speak from your heart because your heart beats for India, I feel. You know, every breath is connected to Bharat.
Shri Krishna has played a big role in who I am as a person. It's the truth that will actually heal you. Ignorance is definitely not bliss, I believe.
Yes.
Taking a dip in Ganga, they generally say that it connects you to your own roots. You can feel the energy of our ancestors who meditated there. When you worship nature, nature takes care of you.
The food that you offer to your guests is not just food. You know, you actually offer it to God, and that's what White Lotus is all about.
The reason I also kept the name White Lotus is because Saraswati sits on a white lotus.
Oh. So it's a beautiful day today, and we have with us a very young entrepreneur, a person who speaks his mind, and everybody in our region loves him. He's none other than Mr. Ajay Shetty. Welcome to our podcast, Ajay.
Thank you for having me over here. I'm really happy to be here at your SunKissed studio.
Ajay, as a child, I just want to know like, you always have wonder in your eyes. You always are keen to look at new destinations, new cultures, learn about heritage, and all that the world has to offer us. So, as a young boy who was fascinated with the world, when was that moment when you realized that, yes, travel is something I love and I would like to pursue that?
As a young boy, I was very fascinated by two subjects in school, and
Okay.
they were history and geography. So I was very fascinated to know new countries,
Right.
understand their capitals, and the same time about our country, Bharat. I was very keen to know where were different cities exactly in the map because you would study so much about it in history,
Right.
about certain aspects. And sometimes what happened is some of these kingdoms, they had old names. So I
Right.
wanted to know where exactly they led. For example, like when you talk about Mahabharata,
Correct.
we hear about so many kingdoms and they had different names. So I wanted to know exactly where these kingdoms
Okay.
lie. And so I've been a very curious type. So I wanted to know what the world looked like,
Oh,
what
beautiful.
different countries look like, what civilizations look like. And history always fascinated me, knowing about who we are, how others were there, how they evolved over time. And I think that curiosity can be only satisfied by travel because we read about it in books. But unless we actually go and watch those places for ourselves, feel, look at those monuments, walk through those lanes, we do not really understand what kind of an impact that would leave and how that experience would be. But the books did a great job to influence me. I used to read a lot of books back then in school, and that always left me with the curiosity to explore this. So I'm glad by God's grace, I got to travel well within our country and outside our country as well.
So, history along with your own sense of adventure, that's what motivates you to travel. So, how do you choose the destination?
It's a very difficult choice to make indeed because the world is so vast and there's so much to see. I mean, I don't think anyone in their lifetime can actually see what this world has to offer. So it's a very difficult choice to make indeed. I think those choices were very random, but the major interest for me has always been first discovering our country.
That's
So
right.
I try to, as much as possible, make sure that we see our country well, but at the same time, you see a little bit what the abroad has to offer to you as well. I think for me, a biggest deciding factor would be the food.
Okay,
If I
okay.
had to tell you, because there's a phase that you are enjoying a particular cuisine or a food,
Yes.
and then you'd want to travel and explore it and see how does it taste like in its place of origin. Because food by itself, if you see, has a story to tell. Okay, this is a food. Say example like you have the gaver, the very
Okay.
delicious dessert. So it has its origin from the Haryali Teej festival, and it's very popular in the areas of around Rajasthan. So I'd like to travel and see it in the place where it is born and popular too, and see how it tastes like. And the same goes for another Western dessert. I like Sakar so I wanted to travel to Vienna to see how does Sakar
Oh,
taste at
excellent.
its birthplace.
So food has been a priority for you, and that's the reason why you did your
Yeah,
hotel management,
I,
and then
I didn't do hotel management,
okay,
but I'm very happy to be a part of the food industry
okay.
because I believe to actually take care of the hotel and start a hotel. The most important thing is being passionate about food and
That's
serving
right.
people.
Absolutely. And that's what White Lotus is all about.
Right.
The food that you offer to your guests is not just food, it's an offering.
Yeah.
Like before you give, you actually offer it to God.
Right.
And then because your restaurant also is absolutely dedicated to Lord
Right.
Krishna. And your love for Lord Krishna is reflected in every wall of Maduram.
No, I'm glad that we all are very fortunate that we are in Udupi. We don't
Yes.
realize how lucky we are. I mean, I've seen so many people from outside. They want to come to Udupi, but they're not able to come. You need to be blessed by God, and everything happens in God's time. You say you want to go to a place, be it a travel, a pilgrimage, or a holy place. Unless God wishes, you cannot travel over there.
Absolutely.
And here we are surrounded by Krishna's mercy. I could say that we are literally in the lap of Sri Krishna's
Yes,
love,
yes.
and that is reflected in the life of everyone in and around Udupi. And be it the food that is offered in the.
So you consciously made your theme restaurant, Maduram, based on the life of Krishna.
Yes, it is. Because for me, Sri Krishna has played a big role and an influence in who I am as a person. So everyone pretty much who comes to Udupi, a traveler or a tourist, they come to seek his blessings. So when they are staying at a hotel, I would like them to remember
Yes,
Krishna every
yes,
time.
yes. It's such a beautiful feeling. Just entering your restaurant and then the whole vibe of the paintings. You love art as well. So when you travel within India, like art and food, I think these are the two
Right.
things which is driving you.
You got it right. Yes, art is very important because see, like I told you, my interest has always been civilizations, and art is the best way to express a civilization. You look at successful empires, Vijayanagara, the Hoysala, the Maurya, any kingdom or any kings, they patronage art, be it in the temple, be it in their palaces, or be it in the sculptures in and around it.
The fabric,
Exactly.
this art.
Yeah, art as well. Like even the British, for that matter, they were so impressed with that Indian floral art and the print, which they called it as chint.
Okay,
It was so popular in that time
right.
that they literally were not able to meet the demand. It was so popular, and later the British didn't have a choice but to discontinue it because they were not able to meet up the demand. India, I mean Bharat in general, if
Mhm.
you go to see, has always been a civilization of creating artisans, skilled workers. That could be in any kind of a format. It could be music, it could be movies, it could be paintings, and like you said, even textiles.
Takes.
So it's a reflection of different regions, their expertise that comes out in textiles as well, or dance form, or music. So I think that's the whole beauty of our country. That there's so much to explore in the smallest of the smallest villages that it just leaves you wanting for more. It makes you so curious, and there's a different kind of a joy in experiencing the newness of the culture that existed nearby, and you are always struck in just wow. Okay, you didn't know that exists, and that could be so beautiful. Something like even in a pottery, like. we see the demand that ceramic styles have. Like when you go to Greece or Italy, the Amalfi Coast region. But in our country also, we have such skilled painting
That's right.
artists. We don't often appreciate and acknowledge it. I think Indian art in general has a great potential. Just needs to be marketed very well to the world. We have to present our story, and I think for that the first criteria is we have to be proud,
Yes.
and we have to feel that it's ours. When something is ours and we are proud, we happily showcase it, and that's when it becomes successful because there is it's not something that's forced.
Yes.
You naturally do it. It comes out of it. Like when you have our own housewarming ceremony, when you invite a guest, you're so happy to explain to the guest.
Yeah.
I think that kind of feeling has to come that everything in the country, irrespective of the language and the region, is ours. And when that feeling comes, we'll be very happy to present that story to the world of our country and the diversity, and how, in spite of all the diversity,
Mm.
we are one as a Bharatiya.
So, Bharatiya, in the true sense of the word, when a international guest arrives into India, the airport is the first place where he can experience what Bharat is all about. So, and every city, every square kilometer in India is diverse. Like, in Karnataka itself, you have languages which change in kilometers. You have regions which have food which is so, changing. And then once you enter the airport in Karnataka, you get that feeling. I think government is taking a few steps to ensure that the traveler knows that it's entering a region of culture. I think the Mangalore airport is really looking
Right.
very, refurbished with a lot of paintings and art. What do you feel? Like, don't airports have to be the first showcase of the culture of that region, With so many airports now, new airports coming up, why don't we actually concentrate on the airport and showcase our culture in a way that they're more appreciative when they enter only.
Right.
So I think that is something which we are doing, right?
Right. Yes, definitely. We are doing that. Airports are our first touch points, as you said. When any traveler enters the airport, that's the first place, you'll have interaction. And I think that shapes their first thoughts about that city.
Right.
So I see a very positive revolution happening in our country. Slowly, people are becoming very proud of their culture, and they want to showcase their culture. I see this trend happening across the country as I travel. Like as you mentioned rightly, in our airport, there's an emphasis on now Yakshagana,
Yes.
the Piyuvesha, which we call
Correct.
the tiger dance, and a lot of other
Such was.
aspects. And we see this happening across in the different regions. Like you go to almost any airport for now, the architecture is usually influenced by the local architecture, and whatever the local culture is, you get to see it in paintings, in murals, in different forms. I think tourists in general look for experiences. Like, why would anyone travel to another place if everything looks the same?
That's right.
So they would like to be transported into a different era, a different time, a different place. So all your five senses will have to experience that newness for them to have a memorable one. And places that offer all these things generally, they stand on top of tourists. Like I think we could talk about it in a very slow detail to just go on about it. For example, like you go to Rajasthan, the architecture so beautiful, and then you have those food, and then there is the music. So all your senses, everything you see, you touch, you feel, is embedded in a very different culture. So what happens is the experience that it provides is extremely unique. So you take back those memories, you get, and you come back wanting for more and more of it. So every time you feel a little bit nostalgic, or you crave for that kind of a moment, you are transported back. For example, what I've seen about Rajasthan in particular, like we first visited Udaipur, and then we eventually went back to Jaipur, and then we keep going back to Jaipur. I really like Jaipur as a city.
Okay.
One thing being that I'm a vegetarian, it provides a lot of option, and I absolutely love their architecture, the music, and it's just wonderful, the experience. So, what happens is you have to make sure that everything in your city reflects the theme of who you are as a culture.
Right.
And in that aspect, I feel that our cities also need to be redesigned a little to, provide that overall experiences. Now I'm glad that there are corridors happening across the country. Like
That's right.
in Kashi Vishwanath, you're seeing a corridor.
Right.
So I'm getting to feel the architecture of what it means like to be in the divine city. As we know that Kashi has been inhabited since the start of our time, and it's extremely old. So there are so many sages, seers who meditated there, and it's called as a city of light. So when you go over there, even before the corridor, I experienced walking through the ghats and walking through, along the banks of Holy Ganga. We can feel the energy of our ancestors who meditated there. It's also called as Mass Mashan, as we know,
Yeah.
because a lot of cremation happen. The beauty of our civilization is that we embrace death as well, because death is just another part of it, while so many of them are scared about death. Because we believe in the eternal soul, as believe the soul goes through so many journey, and we know that we are a fragment of the God. Every one of the soul, that's the Jivatma, is a part of the Paramatma. So in that light, we are very lucky that our ancestors have passed on this knowledge. This is the reason, in spite of so much of invasion and colonization, that our culture has survived, and we are the world's oldest surviving civilization.
Mm. So what you said was that Vasudevam Kutumbam. That is
Exactly.
your, idea that the whole world is one family, and we are all belonging to the same cosmos, the same
Exactly.
planet, and the same universe.
Do you think it's so beautiful, this philosophy? Because there's so much of kindness, caring, and compassion. When we realize we are all the same, there would not be any kind of discrimination. You would treat everyone as, your own family.
Yeah, and God has given us two beautiful eyes to see the world
Exactly.
and explore. It's not that you should be worried about whether the finances are sufficient, because there are means to go on a budget,
Right.
right? As a youngster, you can always travel on a budget, and there are now a lot of offers for the senior citizens also that they can travel. So the main emphasis right now on by our honorable Prime Minister is that every Indian citizen, that means more than a billion Indians, should visit 8 spiritual sites in India.
Right.
I think that is something really no one has spoken about.
Yeah. That's a really a wonderful thought. Like I told you, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has played a great influence in the cultural renaissance that's happening, which I mentioned earlier, that people are taking pride
Yes.
at their roots. And it is essential because, see, today we see that a lot of people have an identity crisis. They look around trying to understand who they are, they're trying to fit and to be different people. And because of that, this confusion and they're lost at times. Once you know who you are, where you belong to, these problems are solved. After that, it's just about having a vision and working towards it. And about visiting the places, as we talked about earlier, I need to actually go and experience it. You will not understand. Say, for example, we talk about the Jyotirlings.
Right.
We know that there are 12 Jyotirlings in our country, but unless you actually go there and you experience it, you will not understand the energy. For example, my first Jyotirling visit was at Somnath in Gujarat.
Mhm.
So we heard that, you know, moon meditated over there with the Mahamrityunjaya mantra to get rid of the curse of Prajapati Daksh. It's only when you go over there, you realize, you look at the temple, you look at the sea, you walk around, you feel that energy, that aura, and you instantly are connected. And once that kind of connection is formed, it never gets disconnected. And even the other places, for example, Haridwar, Rishikesh, the holy places, you understand why Ganga has a river is so holy and revered. Like we have a culture where very often we all take back a little bit of water of our Ganga to
Yeah, right.
any one of the pujas or the rituals, or we say the mantras of the rivers Ganga, Icha, Yamuna, Icha, where we invoke all the holy rivers because the civilization was built by worshipping nature. That's something that we have to remember, be it the earth or be it the water element around it. So they have play a significant role. So only when you visit that particular place, you understand all the stories that we talk about of
Yes,
our civilization.
especially, yeah, that's right, Ajay. See, when you open a textbook of history, you see Durga Fort, Chitradurga Fort in Karnataka. I myself went there, and then I understood that what this lady, Abaka, yeah, Vanake Obaka, how she, managed to come out of that small cave kind of a thing. Actually, if we can, it should be together. Education and
Right.
travel should go hand in hand.
There
So
has
that,
to be
yeah,
faces
that's
for
right.
students to see.
Correct. So don't you think that when you visited many of the countries overseas, what was there in the textbook actually you came alive,
Right,
when you went there?
exactly. Like you said, very good example in Chitradurga. She's such a brave lady. The sacrifice that she did
That's right.
is tremendous. Like we have seen the atrocities committed by Hyder Ali and the successful
Right.
people, even Tipu Sultan. Like I said, the ancestors fought very bravely, to prevent the foreign invasion. So only when you go there, you realize the
Yeah.
significance and the importance. We're grateful to all great souls like her.
Absolutely. And it's a UNESCO World
Right.
Heritage Site, and they have maintained it really very
Correct.
beautifully. It's something that every citizen should visit.
Exactly.
And how much do we motivate? I think you are a great motivator. You
Yeah.
should be telling, because there are parents who struggle all their life to for their livelihood, and their whole focus is to get their children educated and then get them married, and then this doesn't is not on their priority list. There are so many people who are there who have never traveled and not understanding that what they are missing out on. So I think that the whole mindset change has to come about that. It's not about spending, it's about investing.
Right.
Travel is just an
Exactly.
investment.
Like you said, there definitely has to be some kind of a motivation. And whatever you invest in traveling, it definitely makes you a
Yeah,
better
right.
person. It broadens the horizons and widens your perspective. So you become very innovative in your thinking because something as simple as we are talking about food or
Mhm.
even textile, there are so many ways that it can be made beautiful. And once you understand the whole process across the world that happens, naturally, your mind becomes more creative. And there is a chance that, that you would make things more beautiful. And
Yeah.
more than anything, your thinking becomes extremely, what do you call, out of the box, you could say. The out of the box thinking usually comes when you are exposed and you do not limit your mind by any, what do you call that, perspectives. Because perceptions, I would say. Because we generally have perceptions through which we see the world. But like you said, unless you travel over there, you would not know whether the perception that you had
That's
is
right.
true or false.
Correct. And when you took the holy dip in Haridwar, what are the things you would like to tell our audience? Like, what was the feeling that came through you? And isn't it our duty as a Indian to actually go there and,
Exactly.
experience that?
Definitely. First thing is it was a great spiritual bliss, I would say. It's very difficult to explain in words. It's a joy that your soul feels because, like I said, that we have had successful births before. And as we said, taking a dip in Ganga, they generally say that it connects you to your own roots. And people say that it dissolves your sin. But at the end of the day, we have to keep our karma clean.
Yes.
While these practices will definitely help us, be on the right path and have a corrective course of action, it is a karma that will always define what will come in the coming time. But here, what happens is Ganga, Mother Ganga in general, taking a dip, it I would say connects us to the source of the creation. That you would say that is Shiva, who's nothingness, because we are born from nothingness
Yes.
and we return back to it. That's the truth.
Absolutely.
And that nothingness is actually a state where there is a no suffering, and that is the truth. And there is no delusion, there is no attachment, and there is no ignorance.
Yeah, that's
We, I think,
absolute.
as a civilization, all strive to get into that state of Shiva, or you could call it as Vaikuntha, or you could call it as the abode of Adishak. There are different ways. I think that's another beauty of our civilization. We have so many different ways to attain what we call as moksha or nirvana. And we encourage everyone to have their own way, have their own dharma. And that's beautiful. We have been very accepting because be it the Jews, be it the Parsis, when they faced persecution across the world, they came to Bharat for refugee because we really see God in everything and we are very accepting of other culture, and that has helped us embrace. That's the reason, in general, Bharat has a very good, across the world, we have a very good, what do you call as acceptance and encouraging. We are generally have a good that. I think we need to work on that a little bit more to make sure that as a tourist country, we are more attractive and more people come and explore the places that we have to see. That will only happen when we are pride, when we take pride in our culture,
Exactly.
and we position ourselves with the right messaging, because the message that what we have to offer has not fully reached the whole world. There are different people who are working on it. But once every Bharatiya takes on in itself, the message will reach a larger audience. And I think anyone who travels outside the country is a representation of the country at the end of the day. And they take with them a great responsibility and a duty to make sure that right representation happens,
True.
whether they're working or whether they're going as a tourist.
Yeah. So, what do you have to say to all the podcast viewers who are looking forward to come to India? This is a global platform. We have Indians across the globe, third generation, second generation, who haven't actually visited India.
Right.
So, what do you have to say to them? Like, what is India all about, and what is it that a first-time traveler to India should look forward to? What does India have to offer to a global traveler?
I think the first thing what India has to offer to global traveler is definitely its warm, welcoming culture, the Atiti Devo Bhava. Like, I think the way we welcome guests, there are very few people who do that. So, anyone who has not come back, who belong to or have their roots somewhere over here, what I would say is that once you come over here and you understand your roots, I would just say that you as a person would get a better understanding of yourself. And tomorrow, when you go back, you would see why are Indians or Bharatiyas performing so well. You look at America, the Bharatiya community is a very small faction, but they're so successful, they're so law abiding. You hardly see any incidents of crime done by Bharatiyas across the world. Very rare. And they contribute a large amount to the GDP. So, how did it all happen? Like, what is that? So for that, if they come to Bharat, they will realize where their roots lie. And there is something in this air, this water, this land that has made them like that, which they may not be aware consciously. So they would awaken to a greater level of spiritual consciousness. Because you have a look at the Apple founder, Steve Jobs. There's a point in his life that when he was lost, he came to Bharat to again look for direction, and he had come to Kenchi Dam in Uttarakhand looking for Neem Karoli Baba. And from what I read, could not meet him, but he did find his inspiration and even recommended
Okay.
the Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg to come. So many of them, the Beatles. You could go on Julia Roberts, then Will Smith, even Elon Musk, even Albert Einstein.
It's like
It's
coming home.
yeah, because you are coming to the root which is making you understand the entire cosmos and the universe. It's the civilization that says that you are not different from the universe. We are a small miniature versions of the universe.
Absolutely. So, Ajay, in India, the first city that we really, notice or talk about is New Delhi. So, what do you feel about the capital of India as a showcase for Indian culture?
Like you said, every country and generally a capital plays a big role in shaping what people think about that country. We see that a lot of foreigners who come, they generally visit Delhi, Agra, and maybe Jaipur, the Golden Triangle. And I think of late, because of the efforts of our Prime Minister, Varanasi and so many other places have been put on a world map. Delhi, as we speak of, was originally called as Indraprastha. So it's a city that's called a city of Indra. So this city was created by the Pandavas as their capitals on the directions of Sri Krishna. So Mayasur built the Mayasabha, the palace, and Vishwakarma was the architect of this great city. So large portions of what we see Delhi is the actual original Indraprastha. So when we speak about the Bharatiya civilization, it's essential to understand that what the capital of Bharat was. When we speak about Mahabharata, so many kingdoms, we have to know exactly where that events happened. There are documented historical evidences and proofs of it. For example, ASI is still having a survey being done at Purana Kila, the site of the original palace of the Pandavas. And along that, there are so many mentions of it. For example, like there is a Bhairav temple over there. So the Bhairav temple has a history that when certain spirits were, troubling in Indraprastha, the newly created capital of the Pandavas. So Sri Krishna advised Bhim to go to Varanasi and get blessings of Kal Bhairav. And he did that. And once he did that, that provided a city protection against all the negative energies. So you have that actual temple today. You need to go to that temple, visit it to understand the historical significance of it. And when I went there, there was so much of, energy over there. You know for a fact that this is exactly what happened. And apart from Purana Kila, there are actually five places that has a historical evidences of Mahabharat or Indraprastha capital. I think they're called as Panch Pandav Temple Purana. One of them, as I mentioned now, is the Bhairav Temple around the fort. Along with that, there's a beautiful temple of Hanuman, where Hanuman made beam, and it is one of the five temples linked to the Pandavas in Indraprastha. So, a beautiful temple of Hanuman. There's a lot of devotees coming over there with so much of devotion in such a bustling heart of the capital.
Delhi
Like you said, which is a melting pot of
cultures.
yeah, cultures and food. Another temple is Yogmaya temple.
Huh.
So Yogmaya is a sister of Sri Krishna.
Mhm.
So you see over there, it's in around Meroli. So it's a beautiful temple again that's connected to Mahabharata times. And another temple which I visited, which I am very fond of, it's the Neel Chatri temple. So that's a temple by the banks of Yamuna of Shiva. So this is a temple where Yudhishthir Maharaj was the king of Indraprastha, the eldest brother of the Pandavas. He worshipped Shiva there before starting the Ashwamedha Yagya to becoming a Samrat of Bharat. So I had the opportunity of God to perform a Rudrabhishek there, and that's one of the most amazing spiritual experience that I had.
Mm.
So I
Neel Chatri.
yeah, Neel Chatri temple by
Okay.
the banks of Ganga. So I request everyone to go there and perform a Rudrabhishek. You would see an amazing difference. And then there is one more temple, and that is Kalkaji. So it's a temple of Devi.
Mhm.
So the Pandavas and Sri Krishna worshipped Mata Devi over here before going into the Mahabharata one. So these are the five ancient temples. Because generally, I see that anyone visiting Delhi do not visit these temples, are not aware of the historical origins. So it's very essential to understand our culture, our civilization, and that will happen only when you visit this kind of places.
Yes, it is our responsibility actually to, throw light on these ancient temples which are there in the capital of Delhi.
And Indraprastha, is what we call it as Delhi now, has amazing food. I really like the food over there.
Okay. Any particular restaurant you still remember and you would love to go there again? Or
General,
any particular dish?
I would say that the Golgappa is very
Golgappa.
nice.
And also Chola Bhatura.
Yes, Chole Bhatura is very good. Yeah, across.
And they have it in the morning, right?
Yeah, for breakfast.
For
It's
breakfast.
very good. Yes. Yes, aloo tikki as well. Almost.
All the chats.
Yeah, you hardly come across bad food in.
Yeah. You really don't have to concentrate on the health part. It's just about taste.
Yeah, exactly. It's good once a while, but yes, you'll have to definitely
Yeah.
have a very balanced.
So being a foodie, how do you maintain yourself in terms of actually, health and fitness, and what are your, activities that keep you so on the go?
Uh,
You have such a hectic lifestyle. So where do you get the energy from?
Before I used to play football very actively, and after that I used to play badminton once a while, and there used to be a walk along the park. But off late, what happens is my schedule itself uh, makes it sure that I walk around a lot
Okay.
across the places.
So whenever you visit international destinations, there's a lot of walking to do.
Yes, I think that is one aspect definitely. Good, you brought it up that we need to improve on. There are a lot of public spaces that you see abroad where people gather, squares, and we also see good parks that
Parks.
are maintained where large amount of activity happens, majorly the leisure that acts as a lung of the city.
City.
And it's very essential because after a heavy day of work, the mind needs to take a break, or it can also be something to start your day off with freshness. But either way, we need more of public places and parks over here.
So we need a very healthy Indian population. And what best way other than walking?
Yeah, definitely. Walking is one of the best ways to be fit. I think what we could do is rather than making walking as a separate activity or an extension, which becomes very difficult in today's busy schedule, we can make our cities more walkable. We have more of public spaces, walking friendly roads. Because we see when we travel abroad, what happens is most of them do not use cars in the cities. Either they bicycle or they walk. And maybe that's the reason, in spite of consuming such high calorie food, they are fit.
Still fit.
Yeah, because when you have created that public spaces, not only it helps you walk and makes your everyday journey very, happy, to also give a lot of space for artists to perform, to
The
express
open
themselves.
areas.
Exactly. And that becomes a go to happy zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also water features. They really calm your mind. The lakes in between the park or certain fountains. You see that a lot, especially I think happening in Rome.
That's right.
Very good public spaces, fountains, and even in Paris, the Parc de Luxembourg, very good park. So we need, and there's also Villa Borghese in Rome. So a lot of inspirations that we could take because see, traditionally we were a civilization that did have a lot of public spaces and park. Like we talked about Indraprastha. Indraprastha was famous for fountains, palaces, public spaces, and even the beautiful mirrors. There used to be a lot of aesthetic detail. Like, when you talk about the invaders who came, they came because India was so rich.
So beautiful.
Yeah, in the times of the Vijayanagara Empire, Hampi was one of the rich, not one of the, it was the richest city in the world at that time. They were selling golds on the road. We're that rich at that point.
That's right.
And we paid a lot of importance in the Hampi Empire to the perfume and the fragrance as well. Because we believe generally you need a good fragrance to attract Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth.
That's right.
So they would spray consciously, sprinklers say, to make sure the city smelled very good for the travelers who came across and the traders who came. That played a big role. So we did have a lot of beautiful parks long before. But due to colonization, invasions, like I said, we lost a little bit of track, but we are getting there and it is happening. I've seen the, like I told you, the Mahakal corridor, the Vishwanath corridor, a lot of other public parks slowly being built up. We are understanding, we are decolonizing. It's taking a little bit of time, but I'm sure we'll get back to where we are.
Yes, Brindavan Gardens.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so that is also one, opulence of Indian culture, where the Mysore Palace and the gardens around it, it just showcases how luxury a life was of the kings, and it is more than a visual treat.
It's a beautiful garden and it. We need more such of it, and it is possible.
Yeah, that's true.
See, what happens is when there are good gardens, fountains, naturally the prices of all the nearby estate shoots up. This is something I think we have to understand about economics. When you keep your city clean, that itself acts as a biggest branding. And when you have public spaces to meet, cafes, restaurant nearby, water features, beautiful gardens, and we need to see more of gardens in every city with lot of flowering plants. Look at Kyoto for that example, or
See, I
Japan.
was just getting to Japan. How
Yeah.
did you read my mind? I was
Yeah.
just going to tell you that
Because
when we
see,
went to that lake in Japan, lake, it is similar to the lake in Manipal. I
right.
couldn't find any difference.
Yeah,
But there were thousands of tourists coming from all over the world
exactly.
paying so much of money.
It's the branding that Japan has managed.
Right.
And what happens is the branding has to match the actual experience. Only when
Yes.
then it becomes success. So they
Right.
branded it with them, the cherry blossoms and also the leaves of the autumn season. So what happens is people come to experience that beauty. Look at that cherry blossoms. We have a lot of flowering plants like that. I think in the northeast, one of the cities is managed. I think Shillong is having a kind of a cherry blossom festival with the
Even the
rock
duck.
music
Yes.
in the towards the winter. But
Mhm.
there they have it towards March, April. But there I think it's towards November, December in that time. So you see, look at that cherry blossom. The marketing is so successful.
Successful.
The prices of the rooms are sky high at that time because
Absolutely.
everyone wants to come and experience, and that's creating a shortage where people are ready to pay the premium
Yeah.
price.
That's the kind of branding
Yeah.
they're doing.
The whole of Japan, I think we can take a little bit of inspiration from them for now. As
Mhm.
in, they kept their lakes and rivers very beautiful, and it has kind of a zen, a very calming effect.
That's right.
And at the same time, there are such beautiful landscaped gardens with the flowering plants that really, transports you into a different state of happiness.
Absolutely.
So, if more of our cities start doing that, it would be much more impactful, the tourism, because it will create a memory because we have a lot of plants and flowers for our different regions. We can start by identifying them and having them across the region to create an identity of its own. For example, like we have the GI tag Mattugulla in Udupi.
Yes.
Uh,
Jasmine flower also.
yeah, jasmine flower as well. Exactly. Jasmine is one of the best smelling fragrance, and that could be used in soaps
Yeah, right.
and so many other things, perfumes. The branding can happen with the Udupi jasmine. You can have a good brand of soap, perfumes. That would again like put us on a map. Like you have the Mysore sandal,
Yeah, we have
something on
Mysore
a
sandals.
similar line.
Right.
And also Mattugulla, speaking about, it comes from a very narrow region of Mattu because the soil that exists to give that flavor does not exist anywhere else. So something so unique we see in Krishna-Mata, the Mattugulla sambar is popular. So you want to promote Mattugulla. So for example, when you look at abroad, they have dedicated stores where they are selling magnets, the masala mixers,
Yeah.
not the spice mixers of it, or paintings, portraits, or some snacks pre-packeted.
Right.
So the what's happening is the whole experience is being enhanced. So what we need to do is we have to identify products over here that are good and showcase it. I think the Uttar Pradesh government is doing very well in that
Yeah.
direction with one
Every
district, one
district,
product.
every district,
Yeah.
one product.
So we can identify what's popular over here and market it very well.
Yeah.
So that would bring in a lot of tourism. As I said, once they see that the landscape, everything, architecture, that has to resemble a certain uniformity. For example, in Paris, they will not allow you to change the color of the paint, the height of the building, the shape of the window, because in the historic part of the city, they want to create a very similar environment.
Same with Bhutan.
Yeah.
Ajay, have you been to Bhutan?
Unfortunately, no, but I'd love to
Let's
go.
visit. Yeah, in Bhutan also, right? If you have a land, you want to build a house, you need to take government approval. So that the entire architecture is Bhutanese.
Right.
And even when you, as I told about the airport, the Paro airport is just like a museum. It has architecture of Bhutan and inside all paintings. So you don't feel you're entering an airport,
Right.
you actually feel you're entering an art museum.
Right. I think that's the kind of an experience that we
Yes.
should strive to create over
Yes,
here,
that's right.
which brings in huge tourism.
And India is so diverse. Every state has something to offer. You
Exactly.
can imagine how every state capital airport will look, when you do it
Right.
in the local way, with local architecture, local
Correct.
colors.
That makes a very big difference indeed, because the percentage what the tourism is adding to GDP is very low. So there is so much of a potential for us
Yeah,
to increase the per capita income of every citizen of this country if tourism is given right importance and a direction. So I see that happening in the coming time, honestly.
and vocals for local.
Yeah.
As we talk about vocal for
Right.
local, there are shops in Bhutan which is completely indigenous handicrafts, handlooms, all women entrepreneurs.
That's
They all have a lane and they have small shops, identical shops, but only locally made products.
okay.
So that's what something we need to also put in a thought because we have a lot of
Definitely,
local
that will
products.
make a very big difference because, as you mentioned, when you have spoken about Bhutan, there's a particular picture that comes into my mind.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of impression that we need to create. You know, the Himalayan architecture, the mountains, that food.
Yeah.
So, so what happens is that is what we have to do because that happens only when it's a people's movement. See, the government or some enterprises, they can try to create that environment. But unless the people take pride in it and they all strive to do that together, that experience will not be complete for any tourist who comes to visit us.
Life is so beautiful,
Right.
Ajay, and every part of the earth is beautiful. And when you go to Paris, you feel the vibe, you feel that happiness, you feel the joy just sitting in a cafe. So, what was your experience when you visited Paris?
I think Paris was a very beautiful experience because the city by itself appreciates art very well. Artists are encouraged, musicians are encouraged. Even the food is a work of art.
That's right.
So over there, what I really appreciated was there was a lot of public spaces, and on the both the banks of the Seine River, there were pretty cafes, and the bridge by itself is a work of art. The same goes for the fountains and every single building. You just sit by in one of those cafes, sipping on a coffee and admiring how beautiful everything is. As well as you see a lot of musicians performing. So it's so wonderful to see everything come alive. And I remember watching the sunset. That itself looked like a painting because of the background the city offered with all the importance given to the art and the overall the city. And even the gardens were so beautiful. I remember Jardin de Luxembourg, such a beautiful garden with very beautiful flowers, greenery, and water features, and the traditional Parisian architecture. And then you have the garden, Tuileries Garden, and that's so beautiful. So overall, I think about Paris, I think the best part was you can discover it by food, and everything is so good. The experience, be it the cafe, the perfumes that they sell, the gardens, the buildings. So it adds up to create that experience of it being a very
That's the
beautiful.
reason why they say Paris is the most romantic city in the world because it really encourages people to be themselves and enjoy nature.
I think that is what happens when you give art that importance because Indian art is so beautiful. It still has not got that kind of a recognition in the world. And art drives the economy. And we have to understand its significance and incorporate it and present it in that manner that would create a very wonderful transformation.
Yeah, when a city is being developed or redeveloped, we should concentrate on these aspects. As you said, you come back with memories of Paris. Like, how about making Bombay, art capital of India? Like, even Mumbai is throbbing with life, with culture. But how much are we doing to preserve that, identity which Mumbai is actually seeking to be the art capital of India?
Mumbai, the contribution to GDP is immense, and it is a magnet for the wealthy. So I'm happy to note there's a lot of infrastructure development happening in Mumbai. The coastal roads, the
Yes.
ports are getting connected, and the new airports happening. So whenever we develop this kind of infrastructure, as you mentioned about Bhutan, the identity of the culture has to be intact. It has to be made beautiful, and Mumbai also definitely needs a lot of more green spaces.
Go.
Green
The
spaces.
coastal road is doing wonders.
Yeah.
Actually, they've given
Beautiful.
a track for walking. They have a bicycle track. So actually, they are doing some kind of a movement where
I say slowly things changing in Mumbai,
yes,
but we have to always believe in sustained development. Like the development should
not at the cost of nature. Like we are encroaching on the ocean.
right. And sometimes I'm really sad to talk about these things. In the name of environmental activism, sometimes the meaningful developments are stopped. Like, for example, the RA shed was very essential for the public transport in Mumbai because you look at the life of people who travel on daily trains. I have traveled so much on the Mumbai locals. I've seen how hard it gets. So the metro is very essential. And unnecessary activism was done for the sake of politics by certain vested interest in RA. And now that the metro is happening, we think it was so essential for
Blessing.
daily commuters. And I hope the bullet train also takes off soon and we have bullet trains across the country.
Yeah.
Because even that, there were certain politics around that area. It's very essential because, see, we go abroad and we appreciate it. We've seen the kind of impact the bullet train has done in Japan, in Korea, and even in Europe. The fast trains that have done Spain, Italy, or so.
Even connecting London to
Exactly.
Paris, the
It's
underwater
engineering marvel, and
engineering.
such kind of things are possible over here.
Right.
People have to be more aware. And I think when it comes to national interest, you have to keep the country first and everything aside. So development should take a priority, keeping in mind the impact it will have on environment at the first. So no amount of politics should come in that kind of a developmental project that is serving the interest of the country.
Yes, so true, Ajay, so true. And when you speak, you really speak from your heart because you feel your heart beats for India, I feel. Every breath is connected to Bharat. Every breath is for making Bharat the ideal destination for global travelers. Every breath and every word of yours is actually concentrating on the fact that how we can make Bharat an even better and even progressive nation.
That's true. Like, I really wish for that. And I'm glad that, a lot of people are wishing that as well. Like I told you, as I travel, I see a collective movement happening in this direction. And I think what we need to do is we all need to join our hands together
Yes.
and be kind to one another. And we have to be seekers of truth. Ignorance is definitely not bliss, I believe,
Yeah, okay.
because it's the truth that will actually heal you. It will, the sooner you come and embrace the truth, the more soon you will be free and you'll feel that peace of mind and that happiness.
Absolutely. So when you visit India, you actually come to seek the truth
Right.
and the absolute truth. And all entrepreneurs from all over the world, they're actually looking at India as not only a spiritual destination, but a destination that can heal.
Right.
That can heal not only your thoughts, but your soul as well.
Right.
So looking forward to us as Bharatiyas making this a country which is the most sought after. And that will help not only developing India as a nation, it'll contribute a lot to the GDP. It'll contribute towards the wellness of our
Right.
community, local communities. So these are the things that we really look forward to.
It will definitely happen. I'm very confident with the way things happening.
Yeah.
It will happen because see, For the whole world, Bharat is essential because see, Bharat has always been that place, like you said, where people come back to heal, to be more spiritual, because this is the kind of knowledge that it is spread. Because Bharat by itself, a definition, is another name in Sanskrit for Agni or fire, where people have this desire to seek knowledge, to seek light. So this is the whole ethos of our civilization.
Cradle of civilization.
Exactly.
India.
So I'm sure. So for the whole world, it's essential that Bharat is strong, Bharat survives, and that civilization survives, which it will happen. The reason it's called Sanatan Dharma is because it's eternal. Because this is the truth. It's not something that somebody has, forced on someone in the belief. Our ancestors, the rishis, the seers, they meditated on the truth. They were scientists who sought truth, and they have done a lot of research on this. So, what we are experiencing today is the efforts of successive rishis, sages, their hard work, this happiness, this contentment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And even there's a connect with the temple, right? The Sun Temple in Konark is connected to one of the international temples in Egypt. So, with the same kind of a name.
Exactly, like you look at the ancient civilization, that's what I meant. The truth, like we all worshipped sun across civilizations, as you mentioned rightly in Egypt. You look at the Inca, the Mayan civilization, such beautiful sun temples across the world. Even in the old Mitra, the gods from the old Persian, there are so many sun gods across the world. Everywhere, people, because see, sun is the giver of life. Like even in our astrology, which is another gift from our ancestors, a branch of science which is understand better. It also says sun is our soul, the truth. Like when the sun is strong in your birth chart, you have a proper sense of direction, the right kind of the pride. So we all worship nature, and it is essential to worship nature because what happens is when you worship nature, nature takes care of you.
Yes.
Like across the world, you travel as you go through Rome, the Roman civilization, the Greek civilization, the Persian, as I mentioned, you name any Egyptian, the Japanese, even Thai, Indonesian, any culture. So all of them have a similarities. They all worship Mother Earth. They all worship the forces of nature. Like example, thunder. Like while we call it Indra, the god of lightning, in Greece we see it as Zeus. And in Slavic culture, it's Russia and this. Again, you have a very similar god of thunder, who's a king of gods. And then you have in the Roman culture also Optimus Maximum, whom they call. So you see that everywhere there is the same story. Probably because of the influence of the culture, their what do you call their attire is different. The stories are all the same. There's a slight variation because even in our Bharat, when you say how Shiva is worshipped in the north, is slightly different from the south. The names and the things vary, but the essence and the everything is the same. Even now Ramayana, we say the same Ramayana when you go to Thailand. By the way, Ramayana is the national book of Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah. You have the stories of Ram in a different kind of an attire, a different style, slight variations here and there. And in Indonesia, again in the play, in Bali and other places we see. And then you see it happening across cultures.
Bangkok airport is called Suvarnabhumi.
Yes,
Suvarnabhumi, imagine.
yes, exactly. And there is such a beautiful sculpture of Samudra Manthan.
Beautiful.
I remember when I went there for World Hindu Congress, which was again a beautiful gathering where everyone got together to spread the message that the civilization had offer and highlight the similarities. I took a picture at the sculpture of Samudra Manthan. So beautiful. That's again a reflection of how, all civilizations were basically the same and they came from the same truth. So it's very happy to see that. Even in Vietnam, you have a Maisan temple of Shiva of the Champa Empire. And you travel across Singapore also.
Angkor Wat also.
Angkor Wat, exactly.
Most
That's
ancient Indian
such a
temple.
beautiful
Hindu
temple of
temple.
Vishnu,
Yeah.
or the largest temple complex. Even Singapore, the name is from the Sanskrit origin. Even in Japan, you see a lot of gods of the similar in Slavic. So look at anywhere in the world, what I was trying to highlight is that we have to understand, which I have realized over successive travel, is the more we travel, in spite of all the differences in our food, in our culture, in our fashion or anything, thinking we are all the same. And that is what will get us together and unite us. And that's what will bring true peace and harmony.
Oh, that was really beautiful, Ajay.
Thank you.
Speaking to you and understanding the knowledge. It's a wealth of knowledge that you carry. And I'm sure all the audience must be really, I think, mesmerized with the knowledge that, Saraswati resides in you, I guess, because the way you speak is like Goddess Saraswati
I'm
in
glad.
human form.
The reason being, learning is the continuous process. You can never say that I have learned well. It's endless. Knowledge is infinite. And I think that's what makes life beautiful. Every day you wake up and there's so much to learn. It excites you. And the reason I also kept the name White Lotus is because Saraswati sits on a white lotus.
Oh, so that is absolutely what I feel like. You are an embodiment of the goddess Saraswati in human form, because the kind of knowledge you're making an effort to understand the cultures of the world, Indian culture, travel, and then you're sharing your knowledge is something like we are actually blessed. So we at the SunKissed podcast are really, really, truly grateful to you.
Thank you for your kind words.
You are
And thank
so
you for giving me
humble. You actually are very humble and
I'm
very
glad you
kind.
think so.
Yes.
I'm really grateful that you gave me a platform to express my thoughts and my opinions, and to end it. We all have to realize that we are all a part of the same divine, and we all are very special, and we all are equal, and we all have that possibility to reach the best possible state.
Yes, as you said, Samudra Manthan, we are one drop of the ocean.
Right.
We are all part of the same ocean, and we are all moving towards the light, the same divine light. So there's a mix of travel, there was a mix of spirituality,
Right.
there was a lot of good knowledge that we have understood. So thank you so much, Ajay. It's been wonderful having you, and we are very, very grateful.
Right.